rAVe Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rants and Raves. We're back from ISE, so this is our post-ISE series. Joining me is Robert Detweiler from Planar. Robert, how's it going? I heard you did not get sick after ISE, so congratulations for that.
Yeah, you always have to take the small wins. It's going well. It's good to talk to you again. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but
No. It was 2 weeks ago, and also it was 2 days ago, and also it was 2 million years ago.
Exactly.
Well, you guys had a big ISE. You guys were very, very busy. Clearly, you had a lot of great technology in your booth. I got to go take a look at it. We got plenty of product videos on all of those, which you can take a look at on rAVe's website. But in terms of highlights, what were the real standouts at ISE this year?
I mean, I think ISE as a show in itself was a highlight. There was a lot of people. I think it hit some records, and our booth was definitely busy, and so that was exciting in itself. And I think that we did put on a pretty good show with some new technologies, some current technologies, and big displays. So I think our team was feeling successful after the show and during the show.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about some of those products that you guys had that were a few of the real standouts.
Sure. So one of the very first things I would say is that we had COB on display, just like many brands out there did. But we put it into two different demos in our booth. And we actually were showing our Direct LED Essential platform and our Komodo platform. And this allowed us to actually talk about how not all COB is the same on the market. We were actually showing a two different levels of our COB offering in our portfolio. So being able to show how you can have better performance, how there are features that really set the technology and the display apart. And some of those features is down to, the sorting of the LEDs, the color performance, the processors that are used in it. And so being able to tell that story and show that story firsthand of having good, better, best in a technology, I think went really well.
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit, about the importance of having a good and better and best option. Do you want to talk through a little bit more about why that's important to give to customers?
Sure. So I mentioned sorted LED, and that might be one of the very first steps, because when COB technology was created, it became harder for the LEDs themselves to be tested for likeness, for performance that's the same. And COB had a real struggle to make that happen. And eventually the industry figured out how to make that happen. I think Planar might be one of a couple that are trying to offer that step up in solutions. But we actually turn on the LED dyes while they're still on the wafer, so we can test them and determine if they perform similar to the other LED dyes that we want to use in production. And why that's important to the customer is because what you would see typically is non-uniformity between the piece parts. LED technology is made up of modules and cabinets, and you make really big walls, but those piece parts are really, really small. A module is like 6 inches by 4 inches. And so if you have non-uniformity between those piece parts, that can come off really pretty easily depending on content. And so customers that are really concerned about consistency and uniformity and consistency and uniformity over time, having your starting parts, your LED dyes, be consistent and uniform from the beginning really do help. Large fields of color is really where you're going to see this more often than anywhere else, like when you're looking at spreadsheets or PowerPoints or things with a lot of color. the same color.
Absolutely. So in those like more major deployments, it's really
Yes.
important to have that like basis for a standard for everything looking the same,
Yes, absolutely.
which makes a lot of sense. Another series that you guys had at the show was the Simplicity E series. And this was, you already had the E series, but this new updated version, the LCD for digital signage, it allows you to very easily like connect to Wi-Fi, screen mirror, and all of that.
Right. So we launched a new line of LCD products, Simplicity E. We've had Simplicity for some time. We've had that family of products for some time. This is the first time that we've launched the E version of it. It ranges in the 40-inch range all the way up to the 98-inch. And so we have a lot of different SKUs there. And yeah, we brought in some new functionality. We definitely worked on bringing out a competitive product, but we also wanted to make sure there were some features that would resonate for signage use. And so Wi-Fi was one of those features that we thought some users might take advantage of, and being able to be connected, the display being connected. We have the Simplicity series, and we have plans for follow-on LCD platforms in the future, and so it's definitely nice to be able to put those on our trade show floor and show off the fact that we have both LED and LCD technology.
Absolutely. And we've seen manufacturers kind of exit that space, the LCD space, but not you all. You all have definitely not exited. You all have not de-emphasized. It seems like you are very much still saying like this is the digital signage technology. So talk a little bit about that, because I think every year I go to ISE and like word on the street is like, no, like we're DVLEDs, but everything that I still see out in the world is very much still LCD. So talk a little bit about that space.
So you're absolutely right. There's no question that direct view LED is taking a large portion of the display industry, especially where you need large sizes or you need creative displays. Direct view LED, it's really hard to beat. I know that there might be some holdouts in other technologies that are competing there, but there's a lot of benefits being able to build that modular system into very large walls, and the easy maintenance of those modular systems. But when you really get down to it, LCD and LED still are very, they're still today. They're not going away. I don't see them going away in anytime soon, either of those technologies. You're going to have a divide in size. You're going to have a little bit of a divide in resolution. I know our pixel pitches on LED are getting finer and finer, but if you want the highest resolution at a better price, LCD is the way to do it. And so we definitely see where our portfolio should be strengthened and continue to be strengthened for both those technologies. We have large corporate and education customers and other customers that take advantage of both the technologies. And so we want to be able to help them with both those technologies.
Absolutely. And I think in terms of like retail, QSR, transportation, LCD is still gonna win out in a lot in LED, but specifically LCD for that brightness, that resolution. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. Speaking of other technologies that you guys had and were kind of pushing at the show, I do kind of want to talk a little bit about MIP, because we heard a lot about that at ISE, but I think that there's still a lot of industry confusion there. So I would love if we could kind of clear that up a little bit about what MIP is actually solving compared to traditional SMD LED.
Yeah, so I guess the first thing would be to describe those letters.
Oh yeah,
MIP,
just alphabet soup for me.
MIP really kind of stands for micro LED and package, and if you really boil that down, it is still an SMD to some extent. You're taking a little pixel package and you're putting it onto a greater surface, the module. So in terms of how the manufacturing works or the physical look of how this design is, they're kind of the same, SMD and MIP. The major difference is what's actually happening inside that pixel package. The LED dies themselves are smaller, considerably smaller. I think the measurement for a standard LED is greater than 200 microns, and the measurement for micro LED is under 100 microns in both width and height, as we're starting to see in today's technology. And so we actually showed our MIP, so again, very small red, green, blue diodes in a package, MIP. We showed off a future technology at the show to kind of say that we're bringing that to the market. Our measurement on that particular prototype, the LED dies were 40 by 30 microns, so even half of what I said the standard is. Yeah. It's kind of incredible how small they are.
That's cool.
When you really think about it. We're talking about thinner than a piece of paper kind of smallness.
And also, does this mean like higher pixel density potential?
It absolutely does. Yeah, it absolutely does. So the technology that we're working on means that we can get down to those 0.4 pixel pitches or possibly even smaller. It's kind of interesting how when you make the LED smaller, it doesn't necessarily lose out on brightness or efficiencies. It actually kind of gets better, which always makes me wonder how that works, but it does. That there is more efficiency on some of these finer or smaller LED dies. We will also be able to improve video performance with our LED MIP technology because we're doing some things in the construction of that package that is unique to us that will really take advantage of reducing some of the complexity, reducing some of the methods of manufacturing. And so we think it will be in mass production very soon with products in the market. And one of the key takeaways is actually viewing angle. We've discovered that our viewing angles, color shift off axis, is some of the best that we've seen in any technology to date.
That's actually really cool. And so finer pitches, really good manufacturability potential, but also like without that insane cost jump that also comes with that typically. Yep. So
I mean, I think we will see that this technology will be reasonably priced, being a new technology, and will get better over time.
That's exciting. That's so exciting. Yeah. So anything else that you highlighted at ISE that you haven't mentioned yet that you want the viewers and listeners to go check out?
I guess if I had to circle back on anything, is we showed some pretty spectacular creative displays. We showed a floor and a rotating tower.
The rotating tower was amazing.
That rotated, and we showed some curved banners. And I think I put that out there because I don't think everybody thinks of planar as being able to do creative and custom things. And so we wanted to really emphasize that when we did the trade show. That yes, we have our standard products, but we are capable of doing creative and custom and big, spectacular things as well. And we do quite a bit of them. You just don't hear about them all.
Well, they're going to hear about them now. So thanks so much, Robert. And for everyone watching and listening who wants a perfect like product video per anything that Robert talked about, you can go to ravepubs.com/ISE. We have all of Planar's videos there. Robert, if people want to learn more about Planar, where can they go?
Well, they can absolutely go to our website, planar.com, and learn more. You should find just about all the products that we talked about, except for maybe those future technologies there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you to all who are watching and listening. This has been another episode of Rants and Raves, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Rave Radio with Rants and Raves.